Yeah, no, I've stopped it.
No, I've started again. Well, stop it again if you want, because nobody's saying anything.
Right. Okay, so, right. Today we're going to complete the Cricket Family Hall of Fame. And we're going to, Chris is very, very reluctant to talk about himself. So I'm going to do some of the talking for him.
Never.
And I'm going to ask him some of the questions. So just to give you a little bit of what's coming, Chris, born in 1956 in Worksop. He was a left-handed batsman and a right-handed bowler. And I've no idea how that works, but that's what he was. And
the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah, so it does happen.
Right. And he's a life member of Retford Cricket Club since 1998. I'm going to start off by mentioning some of the things that his dad said about him. Okay.
Okay.
That's nice.
Shut your rattle, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
This could put me on the spot.
Get up them stairs, get that muck off your face.
Yeah.
Oh, that was John. Right. Sorry.
When are you leaving?
And don't forget, he played cricket with his dad from the age of 13 at Retford, and he played his first match at the age 13, and he's now their longest serving player in championships and cup cricket.
Fantastic.
Well done. Well done.
And he now plays for Thoresby Park Cricket Club in the Basketball League, and he's a junior coach at Milton Cricket Club. But just going back to his dad said, Chris is a very intense person, determined and highly organised in anything he sets out to accomplish. His cricket was not as natural as Nigel's, but he held his own through dedication and an enormous sense of application. And I think that comes through from what you've told from speaking to us.
Yes.
His dad went on to say that many players who are supposed to possess more abilities have never achieved as much as Chris did. And then his dad said, with the possible exception of himself, age-wise, no one in the history of Retford Cricket Club has approached his rate of success on financial and administrative levels. And we'll go into that later on. But that is a fantastic part of Chris's story. And sort of one of his dad's last comments about Chris was that it personified his dad's own habits, and he said of get on and get the job done. So that is very much Chris. Get on with it and get the job done. A bit like many other people, but in particular. Fantastic. So we'll go on. Chris, Can you tell us about your junior and school days, please?
Well, I can. At the risk of overloading the system, can I just show one picture, please? Because I know you were going to ask me about starting.
Don't feel inhibited, Chris. Go for it.
Okay. I found that. Can you see that? That's my first ever match. I didn't actually know I'd got this photograph. But I'm 13 there, and my dad is guiding me back through the railings of the pavilion after I've played my first match. So, and of anything I've shown the group, I have to say to you that it's been worthwhile doing everything in order to come up and find that, because I didn't really know I'd got that. I genuinely didn't know. And I've read the report. The last wicket to fall was Court Hall, Bold Hall, and I'd forgotten that as well. I caught a catch off my dad, which must have been
Good job,
quite...
good job
Yeah.
you didn't drop it, Chris.
Sorry?
Good job you didn't drop it.
By God, I wouldn't have been going home, would I? But, those railings are railings that are featured in other photographs of our family's history, and they still exist at the ground in a modified manner. These are the railings of the old pavilion that were burnt
Yep.
down.
Down, yeah.
But we saved some of the railings, and they're still there. But I'm just really pleased to have found that. Thank you for letting me show it.
Yeah. So, just to summarise, Chris, junior and school honours,
Yeah.
he was selected for Not Schools Cricket Association under 15s, and he was awarded his cap in 1971. He scored his first century, 120 not out.
Ooh.
I dream of getting a 2 not out, let alone 120, for Retford Cricket Club in the Bassetlaw Under-18s Junior League in 1974. He was selected for the Bassetlaw League Juniors Representative 11 at Trent Bridge in 1974. And he was selected for the King Edward VI Grammar School First 11 between 72 and 74. Now, Chris, that completed something of a trilogy, didn't it?
In the sense, Keith, that all my dad, my brother, and myself therefore all played for the grammar school, which
Yes.
in our varying talents, of which mine was minor, that's something that we're very proud of. We represented the grammar school, which is no longer around. It's gone a long time ago, built over, although the front of the building is preserved. Can I show you something that's really shocking?
Yes.
This is hair raising.
Keep your trousers up.
This is the grammar school in 1974. Have you seen how much hair there is? Can you see the hair?
Like Mullet City.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This is like lockdown. That was like lockdown in 74.
It reminds me of the picture of the cop with all the scousers. Calm down.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hair. But that's how you wore your hair in 74, as you were ostracised for not being part of the right group.
And you still do.
And I still do.
For you.
Yeah.
Keith,
Going back to his dad said about Chris's overall record for Retford included no less than 6 league championships, and he was also a key player in the second 11 and Sunday 11s, captaining both and enjoying the responsibility. For Retford, Chris bowled as a frontline seam and swing bowler. Could you swing it both ways, Chris?
Oh,
I beg your pardon. Ooh, Vicky.
language king.
And in
You
his,
do it now,
in his
Chris.
early,
Can I seek the Fifth Amendment on this one?
I bet you
And,
can't do it now.
On better days, on some of my better days, I could swing the ball, and I did occasionally swing it both ways. But the rest of that is a rumour which I wish to keep private.
Yeah, quite right.
so that was it in his early career, that as a bowler, and then he developed as a batsman with admirable amounts of defensive qualities. He could also hit hard mainly straightish off the front foot. So that's his dad's words. So we'll move on. So Chris, after playing for the Retford second team as a young seam bowler in the early 70s,
Yeah.
what was your greatest memory of starting with the first team?
Can I just go back a minute to answer that, because it's important to me. I didn't just end up in the first team. You have to serve an apprenticeship and go through all the second team junior stuff. But one of my proudest moments at Retford was when I got my first 50. And it was in front of my granddad, JB. I got 52 not out. I put nearly 100 on with Bob Widdison. Can anyone remember Bob Widdison, the Sheffield United European goalkeeper?
Yeah.
He played for Retford at that time. This is 1973. He was playing, and he and I put on these runs, and we won, and I got 50. It was in front of my granddad. And what my granddad did was he came up to me at the end of the game and he gave me that, which is a precious possession. It's a pewter tankard, a silver tankard, but it means the world to me because my granddad gave me that, and that was really when I got started. That's when I really started to think, right, I can play this game a bit and I'm going to really get stuck in. So that's just taking us back a bit, Keith. But then moving forward, within about 3 years' time, I'm playing with Mr. Jackson in the first team. I've showed that picture before, but there's Keith, my dad, and myself in the 76 championship team. And that was when it really became a serious thing for me. Playing under the captaincy of my dad, we won the championship 3 years running. I only played 10 games in that season, but then I became literally a player in my own right the next 2 years. And that was really, playing under your dad. And your dad treated you as a player, not as a son. If you did something wrong, you got it in the dressing room. And if you did something right, you got praised. But they're my earliest recollections. But it starts from that match in front of my granddad, and then into the mid-70s. And I'm pleased to say I played with Keith many, many, many games. And I must say to Keith again, Keith, you were a hell of a player who I admired so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris, well said. Chris, do you know how many games you've played in league and cup cricket?
Well, I've estimated it because obviously I haven't got records. It's over 900 for. I think I would have played about 900 for Retford in total, and probably over 1,000 in my life. That's just league cricket. That's serious stuff, league and cup. But it's about that. I played for Retford for 41 years. So you're going to clock up a few appearances. But 41 seasons, is a long time.
You're going to carry on playing until you got it right. Yeah.
I had at least 2 good days as well.
He's actually been playing cricket. He's in his 7th decade of playing cricket.
Ooh.
Wow.
And he only looks 28.
Yeah.
It's true.
So, how much in total? Chris has actually played for 7 different clubs, including Retford and the Retford Wednesday 11. That's a bad name, that. Retford Wednesday.
Great name.
The Retford Wednesday
Great
11.
name. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it just happened to be the middle of the week. No to do with football.
You mind your own business, Colin Bland, yeah.
It used to be all
Play.
right.
I used to play for the Wednesday 11, actually,
Did you?
for
used
2
to
or
be
3 years.
shopkeepers.
Yeah.
From about 13 to leaving school.
Yeah.
And I moved away from home then
Yeah.
to work.
It was shopkeepers in Retford that played that on their day off on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
play cricket, and that's
Yeah.
how it all came about.
Yeah,
Like
there
the
was Cliff,
glorious Wednesday.
Cliff Barsby run it for a long time.
Yeah, I did.
My first captain was Derek Randall for that team.
Whatever happened to him?
He was about 18 or 19 and obviously brilliant, but he used to use it as practice, and he used to get the ground ready, make the wickets, and I played under him. So I can actually say, although it was midweek cricket, I can actually say I played in the team with Derek Randall. But can I just give you a quick tale? I'll do it very quickly. He nearly didn't make anything of his life, because before one of those games, he was sitting on the roller and he was fooling around and singing and whistling and mucking about, and he got his foot stuck under the accelerator pedal of the roller, which was hurtling at one stage towards a big ravine at the ground, which is no longer there. And I honestly, if he'd gone down the ravine, I honestly feared, that Derek,
Would have been downhill, yeah.
What happened was he because he was so agile, he got his foot out of his training shoe and threw himself off. The roller went down the ravine. He stayed at ground level and went on to play for England 47 times. But and it took 10 men to get the roller back up the ravine. Such was the fall. And
I bet he was popular.
in the book I helped edit, which is the history of the club, 150 years, I have done justice to that story, so it is in print. And very near. We laugh now, but it was a close run thing. Derek could have been terribly badly injured.
Good.
Yeah.
What a story.
Right.
What an idiot.
So,
It was about 1970, that Keith.
Yeah.
so Chris, when you left Retford in 1996,
And 1983 I left, so I left. I started playing elsewhere in 84.
right?
Yeah.
So, where did you go from there?
I went to a club that we knew very well. They were our opposition for many years, called Milton. It's a village 2 or 3 miles from Retford, very friendly. And the whole of our family moved there. My dad was still playing a bit, my brother and myself. So we played at Milton, and we had a very happy 3-season break. And we played for Milton, and we tried like heck to try and win promotion, which we had a brilliant team, but we never quite made it. But we had a lot of fun doing it.
Was Derek Footit still there when you were there then, Chris?
Indeed, Colin. Derek Footit had retired, but he was still the sort of
I
president.
know he was involved with it, because he used to. I worked in Curtis and Howells, and he used to come in the shop, and we used to talk about it quite a
Mr.
bit,
Footit was Milton Cricket Club.
Yeah.
That's my grandmother's maiden name, Footit.
The changing room, I believe, was a double-decker bus, was it?
It was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At one bit, yes.
Yeah.
When when Retford rebuilt their pavilion, all of the cabins that were at Retford ended up at Milton, and that was quite an interesting thing, getting changed in the porter cabins. But you needs must.
Yeah.
What prompted
Sorry,
the
Dave.
move, Chris?
Hello.
What prompted the move to Milton?
What? Sorry.
What prompted the move to Milton?
My question.
Committee dispute.
Enough said. Enough
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah.
The ones that
Yeah.
do often get criticised by the ones that don't.
Don't.
Very true. How
You
very
take-
true.
You can take it so far, and then there comes a point
is.
when you make a break.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we never left the club, and we never left
Yeah.
our membership. But sometimes you have to make a break. From a cricket point of view, it was the making of me as a batsman. I became a much better player because I played every week and I went in number 3. I wasn't down the order. I was in the front line with Nigel. So I think those 3 years wasn't planned that way, but I think those 3 years did as well as cricketers.
That's good
And it's a
lesson for a
lovely
lot.
club to play for. Absolutely lovely club. Still, and I go back there to coach the kids now, so you can tell the relationship is still sound.
It's a good lesson
And
for the kids of the
what-
day to learn is put your effort in, establish your reputation, but don't be afraid to stick to your convictions.
Yeah.
And what milestone did you achieve there, Chris?
Well, Nigel and Nigel, let me put this straight. You know, Nigel's a frontline top player, and I played my hardest to support those efforts. And I did have some good days, and they're the ones you remember. But my finest moment for Milton was getting 100. I have mentioned it in Nigel's segment. I got up my first century in the league for Milton and won and helped win the game. And my brother was actually on the field with me because he was running for me. I was injured. I'd injured myself, and he ran the last 25, 35 runs for me. But that was in 88, I think that was.
Was he pleased or
not
tired?
88, no, 86 that was, 86.
86, yeah.
86. And then that you'll never forget that. That's your first century in a proper match against tough opposition. That's a big moment. So that would be one of my top moments in my cricket, really.
Yeah. During your time at cricket, when you went back to Retford,
Yeah.
you got 2 Man of the Match awards. In 1988,
Yeah.
you were named Man of the Match. And in the Harry Tomlins Trophy final, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. God, that's a long time ago. Retford, I'd got Nigel and I, everyone, all of our family returned. Everything's happy. We're back in the club. I re-established myself as a player in the first team, which was the first thing to do, and Nigel was captain by then. We got all the way to the Harry Tomlins Cup final, which is like the League Cup final. You know, you get to the cup, all the teams take part. We got to the final, and we're playing a team, a very talented team called Farnsfield, and they were taking us apart, quite frankly. And Nigel put me on to bowl, and I got 5 wickets. I got their top 2 players out who'd both got nearly 100 each, and we pulled the game back a bit. So that was good. And then second half of the game, it didn't really go our way. We did have a few partnerships, but we didn't quite manage it, and I was left 47 not out. Now, I sound as if I'm blowing my own trumpet. You asked me the question, Keith, that's why I won Man of the Match. The significant thing for me as a person is I was the first person to be on a losing side and ever win Man of the Match. Wow. And that doesn't happen if you think about football, cricket, rugby. The Man of the Match is always the guy that won it. And I won it and I lost. Now, I wish I could have swapped it. I'd have swapped victory for the team. Of course I would. But it's a proud achievement. I played pretty well in the final, but we didn't quite do it.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you consider your best match for Retford, first 11?
Well,
or your best innings?
Yeah. My best innings wasn't my top innings in terms of runs. My best innings I judge because of who we were playing, the opposition, and the circumstances. And it was definitely, I've given this a lot of thought. I knew you were going to ask me that question. And it's definitely Retford versus Notts second team. Retford were playing in the same league as Notts second team at the time. It was 1988. And I went in when Retford were in the cart. We were 19 for 3. The best bowler in the league is bowling, Mick Ball. He'd won the averages the 3 previous seasons, and he won them in 88 and he won them in 89. He was the best bowler in the league. He played for Yorkshire, he played for Notts, and a really nice man who's now sadly no longer with us. So I'm playing against him. I'm 19 for 3, and I got 89. and Retford got to about 200 and we drew the game. We actually got the majority of the points out of the game. For me, the quality of who I played against makes that my most memorable innings. It's not my most runs, but you know, I had a hell of a year in '88. You know, man of the match in the final and played that innings, and I was pretty pleased with my progress at that point.
So from then on, you were playing back in the second 11 for Retford, but you did get back into the first team in 1996. What was the background behind your return to the first team?
Obviously, the rest of the 80s and early 90s, I was in the first team, but then you're getting older, and you're not fielding as well, and certainly not bowling anymore. So I'm in the second team, but I'm trying hard, and we've got some really good players. And a man called Ian Melvin was my partner, hell of an opponent in earlier years. Keith, only a good opponent. Keith.
Very good player.
Wow. And I opened the batting for the second team with him for 2 years, and we got promotion in the first year we played together in '94, and we were then runners-up in '95, and I got over 700 runs that year at quite a high average. With him, we got about 1,500 runs together, and I suppose that was the reason we got to 96, and I got myself back in the first team. So really, it was just playing for your team, and you just happened to do well, and you got reselected, and then I got reselected into a team that won the championship. Which I wasn't expecting at my advanced years. So we win the championship in 1996. We go the whole season unbeaten. We win every home game outright. My job in that team was to make sure we didn't lose. If ever we were looking as if we were wobbling, we don't lose. If ever we need 20 runs at the end to boast the score up, Chris, go in and play a few shots. So that was my job. We all had a job under Nigel. That was my job. Do not get out if we're playing for a draw.
Yeah. So and
we didn't have many draws, but there were circumstances where you had to dig in.
And in that season, you played and got the top score of 30 in the Champion of Champions Cup final versus West Indian Cavaliers. And I believe you've got a picture of that.
Have I? No. No.
You've got a picture of the 1996 championship team.
Oh, yes, of course I have.
You sound like Chris Kamara.
I would never go anywhere without that picture. That's the best team probably I ever played in. That was a fantastic team with Nigel at the front, me on the back, and we had some great players. And we were very good. But no, I don't have anything from that final. What happens in our league is the top two at that time, the champions of the North basically play the champions of the South, who are the champions. And we came up against the West Indian Cavaliers with about 70, I think they had about 17 professionals. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And we just did our best, but we weren't quite up to it, and we lost, but we had a good day. I slogged a few runs.
I'm going to try and move on through a few of the facts a bit quick because
carry on.
we're run out of time. But when you came back, your brother had sustained a serious injury.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris then opened the batting, and for the first time in his career, age 43, opened the batting in the first team, in the top division of the Basketball League, and he scored 103 in the Jack Elliott Trophy, but opening the batting, and he was also third in the club's first team batting averages, scoring over 400 runs, and was voted Joint Player of the Year in 1999.
Excellent.
I believe you have a picture of you with the trophy, Chris.
You know, the things that you collect and you think, you know, crikey, you know, what are you collecting on? Well, that trophy is my pride and joy because that is Joint Player of the Year 1999. Keith, thank you for reminding everyone I was 43.
Yeah.
That trophy was voted for by the players.
Great.
And that to me means more than anything.
Everything.
And the other person that shared it with me was equally equally valid in that it was the wicket keeper, a man called Steve Walker. He took the league record number of dismissals that year, 1999. So he was voted with me as the Joint Player of the Year. And that century was my only century at first team level. And it was my ninth century, and I batted through the whole innings. So that was a bit of icing on the cake, but you know, that was a trophy I value because it was from the players.
Did you share a trophy? Did you both get a trophy, or did you just nick it off him? Like you do in Liverpool?
No, we were given one each. We were given one each.
So, Chris, you played in the Nottinghamshire Premier League with Retford.
Amazing.
And tell us what happened from when you finished playing cricket in the Premier.
Well, obviously, I'm far too old to be playing in the Nottinghamshire Premier League, obviously, but needs must, and you do your best. And my job again was blocker. You know, I'm the blocker. I think I went 1 year without being out. I think.
Wow.
So, because it's bonus points, you must pick up the draw. You must pick up points. But the last match I ever played for Retford in the Premier League was about 2006. And I went in at the end and we were slogging at the end. So a bit of a different role. And the first ball I received, I smacked this bloke really well and I set off and I ran one. And I turned round, this ball had gone miles. And I turned around, shouted two, got halfway back, and this young lad picked this ball up and he threw it flat, 75 yards, straight to the keeper, and ran me out by an embarrassing amount. And I walked off and I laughed actually, because it, you know, and I said, that's it, guys. I mean, this is a young man's game. I can't take on an 18-year-old's, you know, rocket throw anymore. And we had a laugh, you know, but that was, I was out first ball for one. Not many people can say that.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. Chris,
Yes.
man of the match performances. Can you tell us about your most unusual man of the match performance?
Oh, really? Well, we're playing the West Indian Cavaliers again, our great friends. It's they've already won the championship. This is 1988. Is it 98? Sorry, 98. Keith.
Yeah.
98. And they've already won the league. They come to Retford, and they got $1 million. They got like nearly 300. And we go out to bat, and we're from memory, we're about 100 for 7. And there's 27 overs to go. So my dad's philosophy was try and win if you can, but if you can't win, don't lose. And so I had no choice but to defend 27 overs against the West Indian Cavaliers, and which I did. I got 7 of 27 overs.
You'd be popular.
And I would describe it as power, but they got increasingly annoyed. And so bouncers, no problem. But then beamers. Then on one occasion I withdrew because of what they call excessive banter, and the bowler threw it at me past my head. And it is clearly the most personal abuse I have ever received in one match. It was ugly. But we drew the game, and the sponsor at the end of the match presented me the Retford Man of the Match for 7.
All right.
They didn't stay for a drink. They weren't best pleased. They'd won literally every game. But hang it, we're not. What do you expect me to do? Have a slog and be out? No, I'm going to block you.
Yeah. Right,
That's
Chris.
appalling sportsmanship.
Yeah.
We're approaching the end of the time, and there's still a lot of Chris's story to go because there's aspects of Chris.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, no problem.
There's aspects of Chris's time in cricket that are just as important off the field as they were on the field. So if everybody's happy with it, we'll continue it at the next time. Is that
Chris Hall, this is your cricket life.
Yeah.
I don't want you to drag this on unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So we're down to less than a minute. So I'll see some of you tomorrow, and I'll see the rest of you next
Yeah,
week.
10 o'clock at Sainsbury's Cafe tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.